My friends, welcome. I have the pleasure of having the real Andy Guitar with us today. Andy, welcome.
Eric, how you doing?
I'm doing so great. We got a chance to chit chat just right before I hit record here, and having a swell time here. And friends, what I want to do is I basically want to interview Andy here, and because I know you guys have probably some burning questions you'd like to know about him more, and I've wanted to know about him more. I've watched his rise in starting off with his very first videos, and actually we were in touch with each other and what have you, and now of course he's gone way past me and he's a rock star what he does. And so we're going to talk about all of this today. So Andy, thank you so much, number one, for being with us today. I truly appreciate you cutting this time out for us.
No problem. It's just gone 9 p.m. here in the UK. What is it, 3 p.m. over there?
It is. It's 3 p.m. Central. Yeah.
I'm gonna try and talk a little bit quieter because I do.
Okay. Yes, indeed. So, Andy, what got you to where you are today? Like, in regards to, like, what got you into music, I should say? Was there a band? Was there a song specifically that got you started?
Really easy one for me.
Yeah.
To the Future, Marty McFly, Johnny Be Good. That's
really? Okay.
number one, crystal clear. I remember it. I remember watching the movie, and then, as we always used to do, just rewind your favorite bit. So when I was like 6 years old the first time I saw it, and repeat every day, and then rewind the guitar part. My brother is a guitar player. He's in a band. His band's called Cyclazine, spelt with a PH at the start, or PS. Yeah, it's sort of spelt different. But yeah, he was in a band. He's older than me, so I saw him having a lot of fun making music before I even tried. And I think that's a really important step. He helped me a lot with getting started recording myself and making computer-based music. Yeah, without him, I would have been a lot more clueless as to how to have fun with it, to be honest with you. And after that, I did definitely want to study music, but I always saw myself being someone who was the second guy behind the front guy. Not even necessarily the Jimmy Page, because I didn't even think I could be that good. And I certainly didn't think I could find an amazing singer who would be like, Robert Plant or Freddie Mercury or someone.
Right.
Yeah, I've always had a big love for just pop music. So when I'm teaching these 3-chord pop songs on my YouTube channel, I actually like most of them. A lot of guitar players do.
Yeah.
I studied at university and then just wanted to try and find a way to make a living out of music after going to university, I guess.
Beautiful. So you were a music major then?
It was actually, it was music tech. So I did a BSc in popular music production.
Okay.
There's a lot of playing and music theory in that, but also equally recording techniques, music industry and the internet. I didn't realize that module would pay off.
Yeah, right. Wow. I wish they had that when I was going to school, because they did not. I mean, that was in the dark ages. But yeah, that's great that they're doing that now.
So I graduated in 2008 as well. It was just as the financial crash had happened. So if I'd have wanted yeah, exactly. If I'd have wanted a proper job, they weren't available.
So Andy, when you started your YouTube channel, how did you go about doing this? Did you say, hey, I'm going to start a YouTube channel and have 1 million subscribers or like, obviously this was part of your mindset somewhere that you would start it. But I hear people say this a lot, and they say, hey, I want to do that. How do I get started? And I think typically what they mean is, how do I have 1 million views, or how do I have 1 million subscribers without doing a whole lot of work, but a guaranteed success? I think is probably what they're asking, right? But
pretty much.
How do you start? Like, realistically, how does one start doing this?
You start uploading and don't stop. The nice thing at the start for me, when it was 2009, is I just wanted to be a guitar teacher. That at my time was my dream job, because I wanted a full-time employment being a musician or being a music teacher. So YouTube was, how I saw it, free advertising for one-to-one lessons. But there wasn't the ecosystem that there is now, which is certainly a lot more pressure. So I do feel for people who are starting for example, a YouTube channel now, because, for example, if you start uploading now and have a channel, your friends you'll tell your friends about it, and then there's an expectation. Personally, I'm kind of against that. If you're going to do any creative endeavor where it requires building a following, I actually advise you do it on the side in secret. Don't announce it. Don't tell everyone about it, but keep quietly just doing it anyway, alongside your regular weekly things you do.
I 100% agree with you. I'm a big fan of stop trying to make it perfect and just do something. Just make some movement, and 100%. That has worked for me every single time. I mean, I go back and I look at my old videos and I'm like, I mean, my most popular video, I'm not even in it. I think I just put up like a tuner and it's just like, but people watch it. They need to tune their guitar, whatever it is. So I love that. You, Andy, we're similar in that you're about finding your why, your why and and so could you give the listeners your definition of the why, and why is it important? Like, why are we asking that question? Can you give your philosophy on that?
Of course. So with private students over the years, or anyone taking guitar lessons or wanting to improve on their instrument, I've always advised people find what I would call a musical outlet as soon as possible. Now, a musical outlet can be anything from joining a band to jamming with Bob down the street, to recording yourself, to wanting to be a pop star or a rock star, to wanting to be a YouTuber or Instagram famous or something. But also, it doesn't need to be any of that. It can just be something that you do for you. But the important thing is your goal or your reason to get better is more than just wanting to get better. This is totally from personal experience. If I just want to get better at something, it tends not to happen.
Yes.
It's just a fact.
Definitely not at the speed that you want it to, for sure.
Exactly, right? Yeah. It just gets frustrating. And if you're working towards, don't like to say goal with this kind of thing. When I'm genuinely mentoring people for this kind of work, it is like, have a vision of where you want to be or a direction you want to go in. It's not a firm destination, it's a direction. Direction is everything. The difference between being a really happy and creative musician and never playing again.
Indeed, I 100% agree.
I know way too many people who are like grade 8 at guitar or piano and never play. It's just so sad. And a lot of them, especially with pianists, they tend to have been taught to sight read, so they know their pieces. But if they don't have sheet music in front of them, they can't read a note. They can't play a note. Know what a chord is. Pianists at a really high level, but they've never learned about chords. Yeah,
isn't that wild? They know how to read it. They're able to take what's on the paper and then create, which I'm not good at because I don't practice that often. I tell people all the time that's something you got to practice, like reading or anything else. But indeed, yeah. So basically, what you're saying is, if you know that why, you're going to have a better idea of the direction that you're going to, and it may change, right?
Absolutely. You've got to accept that it will change, because none of us, no one can predict the future. Go for a direction and then you course correct. For example, when I was like 12 years old or something, we did have the school like, what do you want to do as a job? Yes. And what I said was something to do with music.
Right. Yeah. How about that?
Oh, okay. Be a teacher. In no way did he think I would be a YouTuber back then. That it didn't exist. Very similar direction.
Yeah.
So that's just one example,
I love that. And I resonate with that as well. It's like I loved music when I was a kid. And then, at one point I said, well, I want to be a famous rock guitar player. And I did I did a bit of touring and I did a bit of studio work and I played in a bazillion bands. And so I got my taste of all that and did a bit of road stuff and then said, okay, I don't see myself doing that for my lifetime,
The touring life.
And then you start teaching, which I've always loved teaching. And then you end up going, hey, I'm I am doing what I wanted, but it's not exactly necessarily what I thought, but it's in that general idea. Yeah. And that I love that you have that same philosophy.
Absolutely. I wanted to ask you, what was the name of your first band?
Oh my goodness. The
First
name of
ever band you were in? Probably.
it was called AWOL, AWOL.
Yes.
It was a Christian band, and that stood for At the Will of the Lord. And it was like full
cool,
on in your face, like, altar calls and the whole 9 yards. It was crazy. The first gig that we ever did was a funeral, and we played a rock song. Yeah, as you can imagine, that went over like the
highway to hell,
like a Led Zeppelin. We were not playing Led Zeppelin, but it was yeah. How about your first band?
The first band I was in was with school friends, and it was called The Frame. That's not the most fun story. The fun story is in college, I once did a band for one night only with a band called Gazebo Erection.
Oh, I love that. Well, now I don't have, I had a band called the Cosmic Love Bunnies, but Gazebo Erection, that's special.
we never made T-shirts. That's the crime. We needed to make T-shirts.
Yeah, those would have sold. I would buy one today. God, that's amazing. That's amazing. I saw, as I was on your site, I saw that you're a big fan of Dan Hawkins from The Darkness, and that particular album, To Permission to Land, which is just like, where did that album come from?
Yeah, exactly. Well,
amazing.
That was right when I was just practicing guitar, 4 hours a day.
Yes.
I think that has to, anybody that gets up to a certain level, there is that 4 hours a day or something around that. 2 hours a day or 6 hours a day. There's always a period of time where you're not doing anything else. That's what you're doing when you're on your time. And that album was one in particular, Permission to Land, where I learned the whole thing by ear. The tab book wasn't out, and I didn't have a teacher at the time, and that was something I always found a lot more intuitive than many people do. Many people really struggle with that. And the kind of interactive tab that's available now, and tabs online freely available, I think it must be a lot easier, but also maybe people are missing out on that play and pause figuring
I
out.
agree. I 100% agree because, I'm, in fact, this week here, of course, not when this video comes out, but this week here, starting at the beginning of May, I'm doing a whole series where I'm literally live for 2 hours, taking songs off of Spotify, teaching them how to play those songs, teaching them how I hear this. And then, okay, now we're in this key. So the diatonic chords, which I know you're a big fan of, because once you know the schematic, it makes everything make sense. But you don't get that education when you're looking at tablature or you're playing Rocksmith or something like that. Yeah, you're getting the movements going, but you're not understanding music in a way that you really ought to if you want to have fun.
Absolutely. And I did always want to create my own music. As I say, I always saw it being, I might end up being, I was hoping to be the primary songwriter behind an artist, and that artist went on tour, be able to go on tour with them. I absolutely wanted to be Guy Chambers, to be honest. Guy Chambers, who's the guy behind Robert Williams, The Angels and Let Me Entertain You and all that, and Robert Williams is a pop star without someone like him. And I'm a real fan of like the Max Martins of the world as well.
Oh, yeah. Any of those like just kick-ass producers, you're like, where did you come up with that crazy idea? Yeah. Oh, just the
hit makers.
It's fun to watch those guys in the studio too, because they're just like in another plane.
Yeah, exactly. So that was really, that album was really inspiring because of their story as well. They were, seen as a joke band, The Darkness seen as a joke band. And, they basically self-funded their first album. It became a #1 album, and they owned their music and they licensed it. And they weren't the first band to do that, but they were certainly one of the first bands that I knew of that did that, rather than wanting a record deal or anything like that. Yeah, that certainly stood them up in good stead. And that's where the DIY mentality, which is so prevalent these days, and I was first aware of it, and that was back in 2003. So it was a big stepping stone for me, sure.
Yeah, love that. I love that. Listen, if you could give 3 tips for reaching one's potential on the guitar or any instrument for that matter. This could be, psychology, which I'm a big fan of, because if you don't understand the psychology, like the whys and stuff like that, people go, why are we talking about that? Well, because it's going to give you that direction. So whether it's psychology or whether it's an actual, tidbit, theory or something like that, could you give me 3 of your top tips that would absolutely be crucial for a student to learn an instrument?
I'm going to try, and I'm going to try and do it for beginners, for
Sure.
advancing intermediates, and then for people who want to try and perhaps be an artist, to perhaps
Beautiful.
make a living from it, but making their own music.
Love that.
So beginners who know a few chords, just try and surround yourself with any other people that play music, especially guitar. If you play acoustic guitar, go to open mic nights. You don't have to take your guitar the first few times. Just be around those people.
Mm-hmm.
And then do that more and more, just so you can compare notes and see where you might be at in the journey. Because the benefits from that are countless, more than I could list. And also, it tends to correct a lot of problems before they even happen, where you want to go in it. So secondly, I'm trying to think of the best second one I can, but I've got a really good third one. It's for people who are wanting to make a living, but being a singer-songwriter or music producer or guitar player, any of those things, or the next big thing on YouTube, which is there's 2 sides to that, especially at a higher level. There's art and craft. Craft is something to study and to try and get better at, but then you also have to study and explore the art side of things and having something to say.
Yeah.
Both equally as important, absolutely. And okay, so the second one needs to be for people who are advancing intermediate players, play along to recordings, the whole thing for your favorite songs, for the songs that you're learning, as the acid test as to whether you can play it and to see where you're at. Out of 10 songs, build from there, just do it for fun, and try and improvise over them after that. I
Love
guess
that.
3 tips.
Yeah, indeed. That's amazing. That's great stuff, and all the real similar stuff that I resonate with as well. It's all about songs. People say, exercises are songs. I'm like, well, my favorite bands play songs, and I've never seen a band get up on stage and play exercises. So exercises are good.
Here's the arts and craft, though. Here's an example of exactly that. Sweet Child of Mine was a technical exercise that Slash was playing around with. And then Axl Rose had a poem. No intention of it ever becoming a song. It was just a poem.
Yeah, same with Dust in the Wind. That was an exercise. He sat at the table, and his wife said, "You should make that a song." And he's like, "Well, it's an exercise." Well, make it a song. Listen to the wife. That's one of the rules. Listen to the lady.
It's so true. Yeah, it's very true. My Brazilian, actually. My partner's Brazilian, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. How long have you guys been together?
We just got over 5 years.
Oh, wow. Congratulations.
Thank you. And she's one of those people that was taught piano in school and college, and has many party pieces. But again, she knows do, re, mi rather than C, D, E.
She's a musician. She plays what?
She plays piano.
Okay.
Sight reads well, plays very well, but does not know a C chord or C, D, E. She knows do, re, mi. Wow. So she literally knows do sharp. It's not called C sharp.
Wow. So interesting. Yeah. Everybody has a different way of doing it. And I think it's really interesting to find folks like that sometimes, because you'll see that because of their perspective, you can learn something new, even though it may be for you, it may be would trap you. But then, just like someone who's blind, they can't see the fretboard, but then they're going to be using their hearing more than the person with the eyes. So they're going to have an advantage ear-wise than the person who can see, typically.
Exactly that kind of thing. Exactly.
Yeah. Andy, this has been wonderful. You're a gem of a dude, an amazing teacher, great player, and you've got just a really swell attitude. I really resonate with you, and I truly thank you for meeting with me today and for letting other folks know about you. who haven't already. So if you have not already, you got to go and check out Andy online. So Andy, can you tell
Andy
folks,
Guitar.
Andy, that's right. It's if you just Google search Andy Guitar, you're going to find him. But is there a particular portal that you want people to go to? And we'll put those links in the description of this video as well. But is there any particular place you want them to go?
Just the website, andyguitar.co.uk. I apologize, it's not .com for you American guys, but it's no different.
We'll get over it. We'll get over it.
But yeah, just the website. That's where you'll find out. I do have an app available as well, but at this point, it's really a carbon copy of the website, and the website's always easier to maintain and update. So yeah.
Beautiful. Well, Andy, again, thank you so much for meeting with me today. It's been an absolute pleasure, and I know we're gonna be working together in the future at some point again too. I just know it.
I look forward to it. It's a regret of mine that I haven't yet made it to Nashville, as I told you earlier.
It'll happen.
The lockdown has just made that further away, sadly. But it means that as soon as air travel is possible again and all that kind of thing and feasible, I'm going to be there. Yeah, looking forward to it.
Indeed. Thank you, Andy.